in the chat. Okay, I think I actually am talking now. So let me start over. So, wait 1 second. Okay, do you hear me now? Are we good? Can you hear me now?
I think we're good now.
Okay. Okay, I am heard. Excellent. So I'm going to start back over from the beginning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon edition of the Final Fantasy Free Enterprise Lali-Ho League. We are in the bracket stage, and right now we are bringing you Rexbanner versus Xenocat. Xenocat, doing extremely well in the Swiss rounds, was awarded a free win. However, during their last match, Rexbanner managed to defeat Xenocat, and thus the two are currently tied, each with 1 win and 1 loss. That means I just noticed that Rexbanner has a very creative naming scheme, which has caused me to giggle slightly. But this is a very important race because whoever wins this race will move on in the tournament. With me today in the booth is Nth, and what do you think of this Sid start and of our 2 randomly selected objectives?
Sid start to me is something that's very, very good to see, especially in these flags where you can't really spend a lot of your money because you just don't get more. Everything sells for 0. We're in brackets now. You gotta kind of make do with what you have. So having that character with that bit of an early level and HP advantage can be really, really strong early on. And as far as the objectives go, I mean, I get a strong feeling most everyone's going to kind of just find Rydia, say goodbye Rydia, and then move on with the rest of the day. But the Mylon one it's always nice to see an easy boss for a boss hunt. You know, you just got to take him out, take his friends out, and it'll go pretty quickly for him.
Yep, and it looks like we got Xenocat's stream back, so we are going to start off right now. And our Sid is being joined by Iridia, which does not count for the objective, and it looks like a Baron Guard is delivering us a package.
That's really interesting. I wonder if either of our runners will just go ahead, run over, and check that package, like, absolutely immediately. See if they can find, you know, bonus second Rydia in the vanilla spot and take care of that way, or they might save that for later.
Yeah, or getting a Rosa, or this early in the game, just having anybody as a third-party member can be useful just to soak up some more of those hits from those early bosses.
Yeah, and with that being one of those spots that's behind something else, you have that bit of a higher chance of it being something a bit more useful to you. You have the chances of it being, I think, Fu can show up behind package start and like that, so it could be something that just makes the rest of this quite easy. But hey, it is that Rosa.
Ooh, Xenocat resetting out, not ready to invest the time yet, but that is very good knowledge to have, that when you need a white mage, there is one available to you, though it is a bit of a time investment. And it looks like in Vanilla Mist Cave, we have some Dark Imps just hanging out, doing Dark Imp things.
It's interesting to me that he's taking this, or they're taking this fight, because I'm kind of surprised that they would. I guess they might be going for the treasures here as well, because obviously looting in this flag set, where again, you can't really do too much with the shops, might be much stronger.
Yeah, Rexbanner here going into Castle LeBlanc. There's a lot of good treasure chests in here that have relatively high tier loot. However, as we just saw, there are also those trap chests all over the place. And at these levels with this equipment, you really can't take those trap chests. They're just too strong.
Yeah, interesting because I've kind of wondered if our runners in this bracket stage, there might be a few who are tempted to go back later and do those trap chests a lot more likely than they were in the Swiss flags, for example. But we're not. I get a feeling that if Rexbanner is going here early to just check and reset out of the trap chest, he's really just looking for what things he can find in these chests and not thinking, okay, I'll take these later.
Yep, we do have the C Neki flag on, which means our characters start only with one low-level weapon. They don't come with any armor, and we don't have any money, so we can't shop. So we got to find some armor and some equipment in these early game spots.
Speaking of good equipment to find, though, over on Xenocat's side, they just found a cursed ring behind that waterfall in the first part of Watery Pass, so that's a really huge pickup early on.
Yep, a cursed ring. I like to call cursed ring Sid, the agility anchor who can actually occasionally do damage.
Definitely, unfortunately, you don't have the free dwarf axe that you used to get back in the old before times of the Swiss flags. So there's a little bit less you can do to sink him down, but he will definitely be able to take care of any agility needs with that curse string alone. So there is a Tella in the Bet and Kaipo as well. Speaking of good curse string wares,
Rexbanner finding an Ashura summon. Yes, our players are starting with a small selection of curative and useful items. And we also have a wild grab bag that comes with just randomly selected low tier items. I did catch what Rexbanner got there, and it didn't look like it was anything too impressive.
yeah, there hasn't been a ton of great things here. There's been that cursed ring. There's been a few like that Asura summon, which if neither runner goes back and takes that rose out of the package, if you really need to, maybe Rydia can fill that role for you of White Mage for a while. And a Charm Rod for Xenocat and a Ninja Sword if they find an edge, but not really a lot coming out of these chests.
No, a couple of things that at least get some armor. I saw a rune ring and some fire armor for Sid, which is better than nothing, that's for sure.
I think that's a good description of everything we've seen so far in these treasure chests. It's very solid, better than nothing out of 10.
Yes, it is better than running around in your underwear. It is slightly protective. Finding an Ogopogo in the waterfall, thematically appropriate, but I don't think that's going to be worth the fight.
It is good to know that Ogopogo is there, though, because that means that it won't be in one of those spots where it's just going to make your day terrible. So having it in that spot out in the middle of nowhere where you don't actually need to fight it seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Yep, and Xenocat unmooring the hovercraft. Because of the fact that Trade Away the Pink Tail is an objective, there is a high likelihood that you will need that hovercraft at some point, so might as well go get it now. And it looks like Xenocat's going to check the back of Hobbs. We do have, in this randomizer, rather than receiving the Fire 1 spell, as she would in the vanilla game, Rydia will receive a random summon. And it looks like that Fire 1 is upgraded into the Jin Summit, or the Ifrit Summon in just about every other game.
That's a pretty nice bonus. I mean, it'll definitely get Rydia doing some damage once she gets enough MP to cast it. That's going to be the rough part, though. An Earth Hammer for Sid almost is a bigger deal here to me, seeing that on that side of Hobbs. That gives Sid access to being able to cast Quake by using that Earth Hammer as an item, even though it's not as strong as Quake off of someone else. If you run into like an early gauntlet or something like that, that'll help a ton getting through that.
Yeah, that AoE damage early is nice. It looks like Rexbanner has decided to invest the time in order to acquire this Rydia. It'll be interesting to see what boss is behind here and if it is needed to complete the seed or not.
Yeah, I mean, I like picking up the Rosa here, especially just where it's early on. You can get an advantage getting through some of these earlier bosses, and then, if this ends up being Mylon or even a D-Mist gating like the Herp or something like that, then that's a pretty huge deal. But it looks like we have a Porum on top of Mount Hobbs. This White Mage might not even be necessary.
And this Dark Knight Cecil with our high HP Sid should be no problem at all.
Yeah, even if they wanted to, they could maybe have gotten that Porum through as well, but just going to go ahead and take it. Is going to just
Oh
use
no! Ooh, I think agility should be good here though. Yeah, okay. The Wyvern here is actually pretty weak, but I think it even would take out Sid here. Yeah, it would have taken out Sid, but the agility luckily was set up just right to get that Star Veil off.
And that's interesting because I feel like there's a big tendency when you have not yet seen Wyvern to kind of tiptoe around whenever you see that sparkle in a boss spot. Rexbanner is going to know that when he sees that sparkle in a boss spot, it's not Wyvern, so that'll help quite a bit.
Yeah, we've already gotten two very difficult lunar bosses, Ogo and Pogo and Wyvern, out of the way already, and they will, not be playing a large role in this seed. Xenocat heading into Antlion Cave, very common early game play, tons of treasure chests here, and a very easy boss at the bottom. I think that was Rosa again that was in the Sand Ruby bed. That was really fast though, so I'm not 100% sure.
That was a Tella in the Sand Ruby bed, which I make that same mistake all the time. I look in there, I'm like, which hair is that? They look so similar. Why does this old man have the same hair?
They both have that platinum blonde hair. And seeing another lunar boss, this is Plague. Xenocat going in here with an unconscious Rydia is actually going to be a help here. Because if he finds that count is going a little bit too fast, he can just throw a life on that Rydia. Whenever Plague likes things nice and even. So if there's ever a discrepancy in the count, he will recast the count, which will reset the clock back to 10.
Is a bit unfortunate though, is that count did actually run out on both Sid and Porum, and it is going very fast. So Riddy's got to get this life potion off really quick here.
Yeah, unfortunately the agility situation here is not ideal for this fight. The other annoying thing is that Plague is a flying enemy, so that Earth Hammer, you can't use the Quake on it. But it is still pretty powerful, as we see, as Sid smashes Plague to the ground.
You just gotta give a full round of life potions all along, and a Leviathan summon for it seems like a pretty good pickup if Xeno ever wants to pick Rydia back up. The seed is really saying, hey, you sure you don't want to use this Rydia? Because we're giving her a bunch of summons.
Yeah, that Leviathan summon can pretty much carry you through the mid game as soon as Rydia has enough MP to use it.
That's the big question, though, is will either of our runners actually use Rydia? Because we're getting to Rydias. You could pick this Rydia up, use her to carry you through the mid-game, try and find that other Rydia and use that one as an anchor. Well, actually, no, wait, this is the no-dupes one, so it wouldn't work that way. Never mind, I forgot that the flags changed.
Yep, for the bracket round, we have no duplicate characters. We also have distinct 10, so only 10 of the possible 12 characters will be appearing. 2 characters will not be appearing in this seed. Rexbanner getting that Rosa up to get some experience on her, which is a great idea. We do have vanilla experience on, so the normal experience is a little tighter in these bracket flags, to say the least. If you have a character and you know that you're gonna take them into the end game, you might as well try getting that experience now.
Yeah, you kind of just got to take whatever you can get in order to be as efficient as humanly possible, and that's kind of the theme of these bracket flags, is Swiss, you could do some neat things. This is really, you gotta be extremely on your game in terms of efficiency.
Paladin Aegis pointing out here, Rydia on Xenocat's side currently has 35 out of 30 HP. This game has no bugs. This is as intended. I don't know that I've seen that particular glitch before.
I haven't either. This is why you make sure you give your children like their multivitamins. They grow up nice and strong and like that, so they can have 35 out of 30 health as well. But it looks like Xenocat is going to go for this Tella here at the
Is this
spot.
the Mylon we need, or is it the dance party we want to get out of our house? It is the dance party that we want to get out of our house, but that Earth Hammer should make quick work of this.
Yep, and that will be the first objective for Xenocat as well, getting this Mylon down. Meanwhile, we have an Asura trying to take down Fabul here. Pretty good spot to see her where she's not going to cause too much of a problem as long as you can do enough damage. So pretty good things to find on both sides, because I have to imagine Rexbanner is going to go to Baron in sooner rather than later.
Yep, Rex choosing to make Rydia unconscious, indicating to me that Rydia is probably going to be his agility anchor, and probably won't be using that Leviathan. Okay, let's see what's behind the Mylon dance party. Dolls! Once again, that Earth Hammer is going to come really in handy here.
Yep, behind the dancing is
Or
somehow
Stardust,
more dancing.
Stardust works too.
That is a very, very easy Baron in setup.
It is. Yeah, that was kind of a party. Let's see that those two guards were secretly 6 + 4, 11 guards. But we do get a legend sword, which is very important because that is a key piece of our first objective. We only need like 3 more things. We need an adamant rock and we need a way underground before that objective is complete. But you know, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, and that also means that there's a hook at the top of Fabul, which means this could be a hook seed.
It could. We still have a few spots to check, so not guaranteed yet, but it is looking more probable by the minute.
Well, at very least, you know, we do have that curse string. If you want to drop it on Sid early, or even drop it on that Tella and take it back later, your agility situation for the hook route you can make work pretty well with the equipment that they've gotten so far.
Yep, Xenocat heading up Mount Ordeals. Of course, with that Tella, you kind of want to do this check because completing the top of the mountain unlocks Tella's full spell list, making him much more useful. And it looks like Rex is going to go to Antlion.
Yep, he's going to go fight that weirdly fast plague and get his copy of Leviathan as well. Meanwhile, we're about to see what's at this first spot up on Mount Ordeals, and it is a Mom Bomb in the first spot.
Yeah, this boss fight's kind of annoying because this first phase of Bomb Bomb has a lot of extra HP so that you can't just always kill it with one hit. One of the gameplay balancings that has been done over the years.
Yeah, I think the only real benefit to seeing Mom Bomb in this spot is that it's not on the other side of the bridge where she's going to hit really hard and possibly start knocking people down before you can really react because of the back attack.
Yeah. Yeah, and those 6 little bomblets can get off a lot of physical attacks. And Rex just choosing to reset out of Antlion. Doesn't care about the Leviathan. Is like, nope, I'm not even spending the 30 seconds to walk out of here.
I can't say I'm particularly surprised by that choice, but at the same time, I kind of like... I don't ever see people reset out of Antlion Cave, so it's a little bit weird almost.
And Xeno getting to the bomblet phase. Once again, that Earth Hammer or the Stardust, that works too.
We've got a lot of good offensive J items so far.
And Mom Bomb is down.
So here's the question that is interesting to me is what is on the other side of this bridge that could throw a curveball? Because I don't think there's been too many things that have posed a challenge to the runners so far, and Xenocat's just going to go for it, and looks like a CPU at the second spot.
This is annoying, but a little bit slow. Once again, Sid's going to help out a lot here. The one thing that is nice is I saw that Xenocat did pick up a Dwarf Axe. I don't think Sid has been back row glitched yet, but that can help a lot for this fight. No, it looks like he might be. Uh-oh. Nope. Okay. I thought we were going to see some globe attacks there.
We might. It's sort of like, how do you deal damage with this party outside of attacks? You kind of just gotta hope that Sid can kind of chip down CPU entirely on his own at this point. So this will be quite slow. So it might actually turn to Rexbanner's advantage going down this hook route to check the Eblin character at very least. You know, if he finds a character that can help with that physical damage here and go from there, then he'll have a much quicker time getting through there when he goes to ordeals.
Guess what? Found the monster box. There's only one in that cave, and now Rex knows where it is. At least as long as you can keep in your memory. I know I've done that, and I'm like, wait, which one was it again? Because I have a very bad short-term memory.
My record is 3 times in a row of accidentally opening the same monster in a box that I knew was there, but to be fair, that was one of those like 3 in a row ones in Fey March instead of the ones in Eblin Cave. But gonna check the shops, does find coffins and Bacchus wines. Going to pick up a couple of those coffins, which will definitely help out if he runs into any more of those free bosses.
Yeah, but you can also see really how the lack of gold there really constrains what you can buy. In the previous Swiss round flag, you could maybe pick up a few more of those, but with these 0 GP flags, you really have to think about what you buy and be very cautious.
Yeah, there's no selling everything and treating the Eblin Cave like a trip to Total Wine here today with the Bacchus wines. You're just going for it. But we do see a Cecil here with Mylon Z on the hook route.
Well, we know where our objective number 5 is now. Or at least Rex does, because we already know where Mylon Disco Party is. So we know this other one has to be Mylon Z. Meanwhile, finding a Bahamut at the top of Mount Ordeals. This spot has very, very low HP, and this Bahamut is pretty darn slow, so this should be an easy fight. Good recall, Tella.
Did remember how to stone at the one boss where you don't want it, so you know, at least he remembered something that wasn't a tier 1 spell the one time when remembering something that was a tier 1 spell might have been better.
So Rex definitely has some good info right now. But Xenocat is 1 check ahead. So it's actually pretty even.
Yeah, I did not actually see what was the key item check from Ordeals because I was sort of looking over at Rexbanner's side. I believe that it wasn't anything particularly interesting, but I was not watching at that moment.
I didn't catch it either, but luckily we have a wonderful tracker today doing the tracker for us. Baron Key.
Ooh, that's a very interesting and spicy question. If you're Xenocat, yeah, they're gonna go check that Baron key instead of going down that hook route. Still gonna hold out hope for that last second magma key that stops them from needing to go down the hook route.
Yeah, I would probably do this check here. Because there's a character here, could be the radio we need. There's a key item check here, and it does open up that Odin spot, which you probably don't have the levels to take on right now. But when you do come back and need to do it, it's there and waiting for you.
What is potentially interesting and or worrying to me on Xenocat's side right now is if they find magma key here, go directly underground, and then we find like a crystal sword for that Cecil that Rexbanner found on the hook route, that could really swing things. But I mean, I do think just going down the Baron key is pretty good here.
Yeah, especially since we have an easy peasy guard fight here. And Tella knows stone.
Now would be a great time to have recalled stone if recall was still an option.
But now he just remembers it and can use it freely. He doesn't have to concentrate intensely.
The real question in this case then is, will it actually land?
That is a good question. Tella is known for his low accuracy.
Well, the toad seems to have missed.
I'm getting some. Okay, other people are getting it too. My router likes to go all woobly woobly sometimes, so sometimes it's just me and my router.
Yeah, something like this happens. I always assume that it's my internet doing its usual suddenly dipping out for a second thing, so I kind of have the same situation going on there. It looks like Xenocat is still working on this Baron Guards fight at this point in time, but you know, things are going to be a little bit rough for a couple moments, so please bear with us with the technical difficulties.
Yep. When in doubt, always blame the ISP.
And when that's in doubt, always blame Twitch.
But thanks to our restreamer, Euphoric Lemon, for fighting with both Twitch and the ISP, bringing us some wonderful content today.
Yeah, not much that can be done about that, unfortunately. We'll hopefully get this back to normal very soon. But I get the feeling that what we're seeing on screen is not necessarily reflecting reality at the moment.
No, we'll have to double check the times at the end and see how far off. Goobly woobly. But yeah, thank you to Euphoric Lemon, who's doing the restreaming today, and Paladin Aegis doing the tracking, lighting up the buttons, dealing with the goobly woobly. I would do commentary, but I literally have no idea what's happening.
Well, from what I can tell, from what I can see, at least on my end, with this sort of bit of lag, Xenocat still fighting these guards in the longest guards fight that has ever occurred, and Rexbanner has been attempting to equip a body piece to Rosewood for at least 3 minutes.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
All right, we seem to be stabilizing now. Again, thank you to Euphoric Lemon for fighting through the everything on fire part, because that is way more stress than I'm ever willing to sign up for personally. So.
Oh yeah, there's a reason I don't do restreaming. I am going to take Asuka's advice and refresh my browser.
I have done the same. Meanwhile,
Ooh, and it looks like
Rexbanner,
I did make it better. Yay!
it has fixed everything.
However, I
Rexbanner.
completely...
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, it's fine. Okay, I am reoriented. I understand the state of the race now. I'm like, where is everybody? I'm so confused.
Yeah, Rex on his way up ordeal. Xenocat, I think they might be having a few Twitch issues on their end as well, so bear with us on that as well. Oh, the friendly stream robot has given me a thing to talk about quickly that I should probably mention to join in on the brand new Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise ladder. Link is in chat. No matter what your skill level, make sure you, if you're interested in doing some fun one-on-one racing, go ahead and join up, and, you know, over time you'll get matched up with people of your own skill level if you're not entirely sure of yourself, and it's a great time, so highly recommend it. But we do have, back in the action now, Xenocat is fighting the Water Hag in waiting on the Barren Throne here.
Yep, this is free fights in Barren Castle. Come to Barren Castle for all your free fights.
I think that leads to the question of, is the True King going to be a free fight as well, or is that going to be the one actual fight in the castle? Because I get a strong feeling if you're at this point in time and you're Xenocat, you probably want to consider checking it, at very least just to know what it is. But it looks like it's an Edward here in Barren Castle, so that Rydia is still out there somewhere.
Yep. Meanwhile, Rex just plunking away at this CPU fight, slow and steady.
You know, that's just CPU and inconvenient places for you. It takes about 3 years, it feels like, to knock it down, but does, again, have that advantage of having that Cecil there to help attacking, even though Dark Knight Cecil not exactly known as a damage machine.
He can be okay if he has a black sword, but yeah. But finally, we get to see the hidden item in Barren, and it's just some arrows that, I don't know, some goddess of the hunt just left lying there like a million years ago. No, but seriously, Artemis arrows are good, and we have the Rosa to aim them, but it is not progression. Now, Xenocat going right back in. This is pretty bold. Going to check out this Odin spot here.
I gotta think they feel a bit more committed to this play at this point, because they know that underground access has to be somewhere on Earth, can't be at this Odin spot. Is going to reset out of that evil wall. They know that it has to be in Fabul, and they know that if Rexbanner, as we know, actually did Fabul, that might actually make them feel a bit behind because of that.
Yeah. And Rex does still have the knowledge of where Mylon is. No, I got it backwards. The Mylon was in the... It's not Mylon Z we're hunting for, it's Vanilla, so it's in... Oh, geez, I messed up. Mylon's not in the hook route, it's in the Barren Inn. We wanted Mylon Party, not Mylon Z.
But that actually does raise another interesting question on Rexbanner's end, where he knows that Mylon Z is on the hook route. If you flip that knowledge around, is he more incentivized to just try and get down that hook route early instead of going and doing that Barren Inn, Barren Castle combo? Because if for some reason he decides, all right, I have 5 characters, I can probably take on this hook route, I can go down it, I know there's a Mylon there, he's going to miss that first Mylon and that Legend Sword at that hard required Barren Inn spot if he chooses to go that route.
Yeah. Poor Vridia worked so hard to summon the almighty Sea Dragon, and Ashra's like, I can heal that with a Cure 4. Also, thank you, Scala and Step Lively. I commentary. I can pay attention, I swear. Gonna try Leviathan one more time. Does have that mute knife on Edward now, I believe, but Edward is examining the floor. Okay, let's try this dragon one more time. Yeah, higher roll that time will do it. Just needed that extra 400 damage on that second roll.
I gotta feel like Xenocat is just pretty ahead at this point in time. I mean, obviously you can't count Rexbanner out because Rexbanner's entire story of this tournament has been basically starting at 0-2 in the Swiss flags, making it here and coming from behind. But at this point in time, Xenocat has that hook, has that entire Baron sequence that Rexbanner's going into down already, definitely going to be able to just go down that hook route if they please at this point.
Yep, and now this is the Mylon we are looking for, which I said incorrectly before. So after this fight, Rexbanner will have completed objective number 5, which Xenocat has completed a while ago. I apparently manifested an invisible Z on the end of that objective. But
I've done the exact same thing before. I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was officers and guards. So I'm like 100% with you on that. I know exactly what that's like.
In the last Zemus Zone tournament, I was eliminated because I confused the Masamune altar with the Murasame altar and walked all the way to the bottom of the moon when I didn't have to.
Oh, right, where we had the quest objectives instead. And that I would make the same mistake there too. So.
Uh-oh, we see Big Doll on Rex's side, using the, I forget the name, which is the rod that if you bonk someone with it, it berserks them.
Power staff.
Power staff. That would make sense because like berserking power. So a good use of the power staff there. Getting that berserk on Cecil, who takes down the Big Doll.
And one thing I just noticed over on Xenocat's side as well, while they were going through their inventory at that item shop, they have a dwarf axe too, in addition to that cursed ring. So they are definitely set for using that Sid as an agility anchor later if they want to. And I wonder if that is why they've picked up that Rydia and started actually using her to do damage at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. I believe he picked that up on Mount Ordeals. They picked that up on Mount Ordeals. And the nice thing is that Xenocat's Cecil will already be a paladin.
The downside of that, have we even found any good Cecil weapons yet? Is the best we have like maybe the Legend Sookers?
I think I saw a poison axe at some point. Well, there's a fire sword. That's okay. That's better than nothing.
Chat mentioning a rune axe, so I guess that would be pretty good as well. Is going to just go ahead and dismiss that Edward. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Going to take the Cecil and going to prepare for that hook route. Maybe going to go and check all these boxes first, though.
Yeah, it has been an equipment light seed, so I do not blame anyone for doing a little bit of extra looting.
I gotta feel like this is gonna be a common theme throughout brackets, is you're gonna see a lot more looting than you did in Swiss flags, because you can't buy equipment in this flag set. You just usually don't have the money, and you usually have other things you need to buy. Like, are you gonna buy equipment if you're gonna have to sacrifice like sirens in your level grind for it? Maybe risk having to do a less efficient grind, or maybe even suffer your way through vanilla giant so you can do D machine?
Yeah, for sure. It is a tough flag set, but the runners who have made it this far, they know their stuff. The Swiss rounds were pretty brutal. Yeah, Xenocat picking up a rune axe too. So that'll be great for the Cecil or the Sid.
Yeah, they're better shape than I thought. I think I might have missed a couple things during the great slight hiccup that we had earlier.
The great buffering.
The great buffering of Bracket Flags 2021 did cause us a few issues, but we are back now, and again, shout-outs to Euphoric Lemon for getting that sorted out, because that is the restreamer's nightmare, and they did an excellent job fixing that. So, Xenocat, heading down this hook route. Rexbanner still chipping his way through the Baron Castle spot. It looks like Xenocat is going to do these chests here, so we'll probably maybe take that Mad Ogre fight as well on the way through.
Yeah, with a rune axe, that's a no-brainer to me. The Mad Ogres are all sorts of allergic to rune axes.
Yeah, that won't be a difficult fight for them when they find the Mad Ogre, so definitely a good one to take. Plus, also with that trap chest flag on, does mean that you have a chance for better loot that you're just not going to be able to find in other chests, so sort of incentivized along that route as well.
Yep, and Rex now listening to an extremely inspiring speech by Anna.
I always liked her speech and how she disappears before the last line, like someone who forgot to tell someone something while going out the door to the store, and they just sort of poke their head back in. They're like, "And be strong," and then leave.
That's my headcanon now. And of course, those ogres are in the very last chest. Woo! Look at that rune axe go.
It's like looking for your keys. The box full of ogres is just always in the last place you look.
This will be good for that level 1 Cecil, though. You always like to get Cecil off of that level 1.
Yeah, and with, going into this King Queen Evelyn spot, which has the chance to be something quite difficult to deal with if it's just the wrong thing here, definitely going to be important to get those extra levels, and I wonder how much it's going to benefit Rexbanner having had this Cecil the entire time, in terms of being able to get through this hook route quicker because of those extra levels on him.
Yep, getting those life glitches off for those that double experience, but Cecil is down. He's trying to be too noble. The size will help, though. There we go. Now he's a tiny little ogre. And he's so mad! Why did you make me tiny?
I was mad before, but now I'm even madder than I was.
Well, see, it's the same amount of anger, but now it's compressed into a smaller space.
You can't cast size on the anger of the ogre is what we're learning here today, but is through this fight, is going to pick up all those wonderful levels onto, well, getting Porum to blink might also be a very, very good thing, and another rune axe never hurts either.
Yep, Rex running into a wall and resetting out.
What do you mean no one wants to do low-level evil wall at the Odin spot? It's just trading one damage race for a different damage race. I'm sure it'll be fine.
He's so punchy there, and fast, and punchy. And casts Petrify, but no one really cares about that.
It really is mostly the punchiness.
So let's see who we have at the King and Queen Blonde spot. Ooh, it's a Sparkle. Lunar dragons. This is not too bad. They are going to be a bit punchy here. But they have so many weaknesses. They're undead, so they're weak to fire and curative items. I do believe they're actually dragon types, so they're weak to anything that hurts dragons. If you're really desperate and you have any source of the reflect spell, you can gamble and take a luck on them reflecting their own breath spell back in themselves and turning themselves into frogs.
It looks like Xenocat's strategy is to put the fire sword onto that Cecil, and possibly even, it looked like they were considering putting the Artemis arrows onto Cecil for a moment too, so I almost wonder if this looks like it might wipe, they might reset out. They could put that Artemis arrow onto Sid as well. And then with those two, you're still going to get the reflected viruses, but you can probably chew through this HP pretty well. But now it looks like they are going to resort to that Starveil strat instead.
Yep, this is not in any way guaranteed. The breath attack can miss. Okay, we got one frog, but it bounced onto the wrong frog, so we do not get double frogs. We only get single frog. That is going to slow down the amount of damage that comes out, though, because now instead of two gnarly-looking undead dragons ganging up on you, there's just one, but we in trouble.
I think they'll be fine once we get this counter script going and we get that one D-Lunar constantly casting virus on the other one. Should be able to be recovered just sort of by the edge of their seat there with that 11
Ooh,
HP
yeah.
Cecil.
I'll be honest, I was scared, but I think it's gonna be okay. That was just in the nick of time, because one more hit, that would have been game over.
I think it speaks a lot to the quality of our runners left in this tournament that, I mean, I know I was sitting here like, well, they're just going to have to reset and figure out a way around this from it. But, you know, this is a good way around it too. Just live instead.
Yep, and the nice thing is that front frog is actually taking those viruses like a champ. So you don't have to worry about the front frog dying, because there is a third script. Once one of the D-Lunars dies, the one that is left will start pumping out AoE attacks, but that's not going to be a problem because that frog... Oh, I spoke too soon.
This is turning into a damage race now. There it is.
Okay, that was exciting. What good gameplay. Good job, Xenocat. I thought you were going to die at least twice there, so that was some top-tier reactions there.
Yeah, and this Mylon Z is not going to pose very much of a threat to either runner once they get there, so really it's just a matter of, at this point in time, does Rexbanner get through this fight in the same way that Xenocat did, or do they end up having problems? Because this could be a huge issue if he runs into the same issue and doesn't quite make it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other plus side, both of our runners now know that if they run into another Sparkle, it's Pale Dim, so at least they have that knowledge after this.
Yep, we have a couple Artemis arrows too. Yep, Rex resetting out of that fight is going to set up a little bit better for it this time.
This is a very, very rough spot, very, very rough fight to have there, and hopefully he'll get it this time, but this could be the big swing. But it looks like he is just going to go and take that Mad Ogre fight now.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. A few levels here, just a little bit more HP is going to help a lot.
For sure. And another thing that was kind of in Xenocat's favor that Rexbanner doesn't have that might be helping out a little bit is where Xenocat does not have that on the floor anchor that Rexbanner had. Those physical attacks out of the D-Lunars were sort of spread out a bit more. And so it did help a lot with that survivability, but Rexbanner's going to have to try and figure out how to make it work with that. Maybe might be worth picking up that Rydia and just letting her get punched. So that way she can take that one hit there.
Yeah. Yeah, this Mylon Z posing no no threat to Xenocat at all.
Yeah, with those two sources of blink, there's not really much that Mylon Z can do at all in this fight anyways, so will be pretty much just a sort of sit here and take that down in this case. And also to quickly answer a question from Flurry in chat, I don't know if Rex picked up the curse ring, thinking about it. I know Xenocat found one in the waterfall, like, secret room in the first area of Watery Pass, but I don't actually think Rexbanner went there now that I think about it.
And that pitfall gets him every time. Maybe one day we'll learn.
You'd think that you would eventually just replace the pitfall with like a nice elevator or possibly even like one of those like spiral slides on like a children's playground would be nice as well. Down instead of just the pitfall, but I suppose it is what it is at this point. But that 48 minutes in, first look underground, you gotta be feeling like, okay, this seat is not being friendly to me right now.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it opens up so many checks. We can go talk to Yang and report back to his wife to get a key item check. We got a completely unguarded treasure chest in the Feymarsh. We can just go to Dwarf Castle. That's also a character check, so maybe the Rydia we are looking for is there.
That looks to be Xenocat's strategy here, is they're parking outside Dwarf Castle using a tent, which has to mean that they're not just shopping, because otherwise you're just going to lose that HP anyways. Why use a tent? So I kind of like this play. You might as well just do it, get that character check down, hopefully knock an objective out from
Rex
it.
getting the double frogs. This fight is all but over.
It's really weird when D-Lunars turn into a fight that's just about surviving until the breath turn and hoping for the best, but the best has happened, so here we go.
And it looks like we see either Rubicante or elements dancing about the Dwarf Castle. It is Leg. Look at that beautiful leg. Does not skip leg day. Does Rubicante have two legs? Maybe he just has one leg. I don't think we ever see his other leg.
You know, that is a good point. Unless you, like, think that the back attack spot is the other leg, but, you know, it is kind of just mirrored. It could just still be the same leg.
Oh, you bring up an excellent point that I have to ponder further.
Anyways, answering the question in chat about how breath works, it's a part of their script. If you don't trigger their counterattack script by using fight against them, eventually they use breath, and it's basically like bad breath from any Marlboro type enemy that you've seen in the series, and usually Toad is like the biggest thing that you see out of it.
Yes, it's very bad when you actually get hit by breath because it completely debilitates your characters. But if you use a Star Veil, it debilitates the Lunar Dragons instead. And Rubicante is gone.
So what is the character here? Because there are many interesting situations. I don't think we've seen any of the duplicates outside of knowing that the Rydia is a duplicate somewhere. So
I think we saw duplicate Tella because there was a Tella in bed too. We're facing a blue turtle. Ooh, it's Foo. I'm gonna use the Foo Woo emote because I love it.
It is one of the greatest emotes ever made, I'll be entirely honest.
I believe all of those were also made by Skullakitty. So yeah, Foo can do most of the last fight by himself. So we don't have to worry about the last fight so much anymore. It looks like he is pretty close to power. No, that would be fully powered up.
Who doesn't like getting a free, fully powered Foo to replace your Tella? It's like your hard work has caused him to evolve into his next Pokemon form here. You've traded him up with the Moonstone or whatever held on and has turned into that Foo here who knows Nuke and is about to make this Kenatsu have a very, very bad day.
And it actually has a decent amount of MP or HP, unlike Tella. Only has an okay amount of MP, honestly, but so that Foo's gonna make the rest of the seed a lot smoother. He just has so much utility. I mean, of course he has the nuke spell to deal out the damage, but he has all that white magic, which is useful for healing and all those border cases when you need blink or wall or slow. Just so useful. Let's see what Princess Luca gives us. She is wearing a darkness crystal around her neck today, which in addition to seeming extremely fashionable, I think it would be very pretty. That opens up the entire moon. There's what, 6 or 7 checks up there, plus 1 character check that could still be Aridia. It opens a whole new slew of bosses. We still haven't found a Mist Dragon, so our boss hunts aren't exactly over yet.
I gotta think that if you're a Xenocat here, and possibly Rexbanner if he goes to Dwarf Castle immediately as well, that you've got to be thinking, okay, well, I have a Foo. I have a reasonably strong party right now that can probably handle most anything. I think I'm going to go check my freebies down here, drop off a quick hello to Sheila on the way, and then head straight to the moon and start seeing how much of that I can get through, because just having all those checks available, plus the character checks, plus the boss checks for Mist Dragon, I think there's nothing that could possibly be found right now that would be better than clearing that moon if they feel confident in their ability to do so.
And Xenocat showing us that today our drop dwarf is a pilot.
Now, you know, we know that the dwarves have the tanks and like that. Is he like an airplane pilot, or is the job dwarf like a tank pilot today? Like, what sort of pilot is my big question.
Definitely lava boats. I know we never see the dwarfs having lava boats, but we know the dwarfs have to have lava boats because there's a settlement of dwarves on a completely lava-locked, I guess you would say, lava-locked island. So at some point, some dwarfs had to have sailed across the lava.
I gotta think that they're piloted like the lava boat in the Corona Mountain section of Super Mario Sunshine, where you just pilot it by spraying water behind and sort of powering yourself across the thing. But Xenocat has found the vanilla rat tail here at the bottom of Feymarch, and also, importantly, found some sirens. Think they're sort of playing deal or no deal with the moon at this point in time. Like, okay, you didn't accept my last offer. How about having some sirens and then going to the moon? Does that make you want to just, you know, hop out of this Feymarch area, take the deal, go to the moon right away?
I would go. I would be very tempted to go to the moon at this point. I will be honest. There's just so many checks up there. And what pushes me towards the moon most, to be honest, is that Fusoya. Fu can go a long way towards defeating those moon bosses. But it does look like Xenocat's gonna get both freebies while they are down in the underground. It just did the Feymarch and is now gonna go talk to Yang, probably gonna get Sheila 1 before heading up to the moon. Rex going into that Kanazo fight, also gonna be very happy to see that Fusoya.
Yep, definitely. The question is, who do they... Yep, Tella again. Well, I was wondering if it was going to be something different, but I guess the real only difference is, you know, on Xenocat's side, they're actually using Iridia, and on Rex's side, they have a Rosa instead of the Porum, so that's pretty good there. Xenocat now going to head straight back up into that overworld after this wonderful cutscene of a mountain exploding, and I gotta assume we'll probably turn in the rat tail as well and Sheila 1 before going to the moon.
Yeah, we do have the hook, so there is one more key item check there. I love it when you turn in one tail and the tail trader gives you another tail, and you're like, want this tail that you just gave me? And they're like, sure.
It's like some sort of like coupon club kind of thing, like where you get the card for like after you buy 5 pizzas, you get a free pizza, and that's just like the 5th rat tail they've turned in at that point in time, so they get a free pink tail.
Oh man, now I want pizza. A magma key. Well, that's not very useful. He's so tiny, though. That magma key is probably bigger than the tail trader is.
Probably, but you know, a key item is still a key item, and at this point, that'll put Xenocat up to 7. If Sheila's a key item as well, that'll put them up to 8. So that could mean that 10 key items pretty close at hand. Although I think actually is that boost turned off in bracket flag?
Yeah, I don't know if that's part of the vanilla XP or not. I don't know if we still get doubling. I perhaps should have researched that. And guess who has a pink tail? It's Sheila. So we visited the tail trader. We're going right back to the tail trader. And that will complete objective number 3 for Xenocat.
And what is at this pink tail spot could also be a bit interesting at this point, because there's not too many things that could be at that pink tail that necessarily feel all that helpful compared to, you know, when you have the full Berserker party and the trader just hands you like a Moss Immune or something like that.
I do believe a white shirt. That's decent. That'll be good on our healer. I believe this is one of the few ways you can get tier 7 items in this this flag set. They can be in the for lack of a better word, blank key item checks, and they can be in the trap chests.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad thing to end up getting, you know, the white shirt there. You have 2 different candidates to use it if you want to. I would imagine that they'll probably pop it on their Porum and use it that way. But, you know, if you found like a heroine robe, you could always use that Porum for damage or that Rosa for damage in the case of Rexbanner's side, and pop that white shirt on and hope that Fu can take care of all the healing needs in the final fight if you end up going that route. But I gotta think that it's going to be on the Porum this time, because we do not have that sort of Berserker setup you would want the other way around.
Rex is thinking about it. Re-equipping? Are we going for it? No. Rex was thinking about doing that doctor fight, but decided no.
He might just be going to save first if he didn't save, but no, it looks like he is going to just head on out of here and check the treasures on the way out.
Gatornator pointing out, was Sheila cooking pink puffs? Infed adding, every part of them is edible except the tail.
Why do they have tails? They're like blob monsters.
They're slime tails. Haven't you heard of a slime tail?
Fair.
I honestly don't know. Let's see, is it the radio we need? It is. Xenocat is officially 75% of the way done with completing their objectives.
Yep, and Rexbanner has gone back for these Feymarch fights, so at this point in time, he's got to kind of hope that these Feymarch fights are basically Twin Harp and Adamant. Otherwise, Xenocat has a pretty good advantage right now, because if either of those are on the moon, I gotta feel like Xenocat is gonna end up way ahead just for not doing these Feymarch fights. Rex taking advantage of several different advanced strategies here. He's using cover strats. Cecil, as the noble paladin, will jump in front of physical attacks and save anyone who is in critical HP. So he is blocking all those nasty physical attacks from the Mylon portion of the elements. We're also seeing a HP refill skip, or in this case, a transformation skip. The script that changes the elements through their various forms will only trigger if you do direct damage. If you do indirect damage, say by bouncing a bunch of fire 3s off of a wall, that script will never trigger, and you will not see any of the other boss forms, which is especially nice on this fight because that second Rubicante form is quite mean compared to the first Mylon form. And a Sand Ruby. Somehow, given the fact that we have a Fusoya, I don't think we'll be going back for that Tella. I mean, if you wanted to swap back, you always could. You wouldn't want to, but you could.
And we do have the dismiss flag on, so once you reject a character, they are gone forever. Meanwhile, Xenocat checking the value cave. Let's see which boss is here. This is, of course, the least walking required to view a boss on the moon. Antlion. Antlion can be pretty bad here. Blink is the way to go here, and we have 2 Blink casters, so that's going to be great. Antlion only does physical attacks unless you hit it with physical attacks, in which case it will do its counter, but this spot has really high physical attack, so those physical attacks are going to hurt, as we see that 2,000 damage on Rydia. But once the blinks are up here, this should be a pretty easy fight. It's just getting those blinks up. Meanwhile, on the other side, Rex finishing out the Feymarch. We see the good doctor and his dysfunctional robots.
Yep, this is gonna be a slow fight, because it will always be a slow fight, because he's got to do his little sketch comedy bit that he's got with his robot here. Just, oh, not me, don't punch me, punch them, and then talks about the oil and all that. And, it's a good bit the first time. About 30th time you've seen any comedy bit, it starts to lose its value a little. But shouldn't be too hard. You have that nuke coming off of the Fusoya. You've got, enough damage coming off of your other characters. This is pretty easy as, Doctor's already down.
Yep. Let's see. Gonna try to get Rosa up for this second fight. Yeah, Sid is also wielding a hammer, which does extra damage against robots. And everyone in this fight is considered a robot. So we have a mad scientist who is building a robot who is also a robot. And if you don't do enough damage, the robot will pilot a different robot? I'm so confused. Everything is robots?
I feel like that is the plot of like Nier Automata, which is currently 50% off on Steam if you want to pick it up at any point in time. You can get about the same experience as this fight right now, just about 20 years more modern. But yeah, this fight should be pretty easy.
Ouch. I do believe that beam attack is based on the doctor's remaining HP, much like Kanazo's wave attack. But unlike Kanazo's wave attack, it is single targets. You can just life potion up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's not a hard fight, but it is an annoying fight, especially now that you get that poison healed off, and the good doctor here will start putting your party members to sleep as a counterattack, which is really, really annoying. But this fight is pretty much almost over, so I think you won't have too much of a problem. Meanwhile, this antlion fight's still going on because it is just a bit of a nightmare keeping your party up through Cave Bahamut Antlion.
Yeah, it's Antlion's so fast here, especially with Xenocat's current agility situation. Rex will probably actually have an easier time with this fight if he chooses to come up here, just because he has that basically perfect agility anchor in Rydia.
Yep, and hitting that twin harp off of that Dr. Lugai fight there is going to be real big.
Oh, that is big. So that means you can complete this seed without going to the moon. Because Pinktail, Twin Harp. No, that's not true. You have to get Rydia from the lunar throne. But you don't have to do any boss fights on the moon in order to complete that seed. We know this now. Neither of these runners do.
And this sort of swings the pendulum a bit back in Rexbanner's side here, because if, say, the Twin Harp spot or that Odin spot, if he chooses to go back and take care of that evil wall before going to the moon, ends up being that adamant, then this moon is haunted and Xeno is just wasting their time taking care of these bosses.
Yeah, that was a huge swing. This is huge. This is huge. But you got to get the other airship, because the airship with the drill, it doesn't have a hook on it. Getting an Excalibur, that's nice. That'll increase our damage on Cecil quite a bit. But yeah, this is suddenly Xenocat felt like was in a commanding lead, but now it's kind of hard to tell. Might be at a disadvantage.
I think the tense moment for me watching, and of course all of our viewers watching at this point in time, is, does Rexbanner take that Odin throne? What is at the Odin throne and what is at Twin Harp? Because those will completely determine everything. It will matter if it's the adamant. If it ends up not being the adamant, then we know that going to this moon is required for both the Rydia and the adamant rock. Xenocat completely in the commanding position again. So it's sort of up in the air, where we kind of know that like one runner is probably ahead of the other one, but I have no clue which one it is at this point.
Rex is probably sweating like, oh, here's the pigtail. Yeah, all Rex has to do to be in go mode right now is go check that throne in the Lunar Palace. Hopefully he does that, well, hopefully for him, I guess, not hopefully for Xenocat. Hopefully he does that before he does Cave Bahamut. Oh man, what a swing. If you asked me 5 minutes ago, I would be sure that Xenocat was way in the lead, but that was completely wrong.
But hey, that's been Rexbanner's path through the tournament, just in the form of this one thing, you know. Started out with a bit of a rough time, then just basically just bowled over everyone in his path to get into brackets, now looking like you might be able to pull off this bit of a come from behind here just through taking those Fame Arch fights.
Yeah, Rex has been a bit of an underdog favorite. Going through that Cinderella story right now. Also, do you want to explain? I'm sure, because we're on the free enterprise channel, I'm sure most of the people here know this randomizer. But just in case there's someone who's brand new, do you want to explain the little auditory Easter egg we're about to experience?
I sure do. So, we like to randomize a bunch of things in here, and one of the things that we added as an Easter egg quite some time ago is, the harp melody that Edward plays here is wonderful in and of itself, but what if it were other music too? And I forget the exact number, but I want to say there's over like 240 some odd pieces of music in the pool now that it will randomly pick one for the seed, and we'll get to hear a nice harp rendition of who knows what it will be today.
Yep. I know a favorite of mine is the classic Game Boy Tetris music.
The one that's my favorite that I always seem to get is Green Greens from Kirby's Adventure because it is just extremely happy, and it's just very, very off-putting almost because of it.
Like, I'm trying to be serious in race.
Yep, but real quick before we get to that harp music, which is coming up soon, just want to point out Xenocat has found the pan and is heading back to Earth, so this could also change things as we're going to get to this harp music right now.
Okay, it looks like Bygan is bygone.
And it looks like that pan has not ended up, well, panning out for Xenocat, as we did find an Excalibur from the shield spot and a spoon from the other spot. Oh no.
Gasp! Oh man! The tides, they have turned. That's go mode. All Rex has to do now is go down, visit our favorite blacksmith Kakal, smash that adamant rock into a legend sword, and the crystal will be his. So the moon is not required in any way.
And is in fact completely haunted in terms of just key items as well, because all that can be up there is rabbit holes you don't want to chase.
Because you don't have the crystal yet. Just shopping. Woo! Don't scare me like that, Rex. You actually have to go forge the sword before you get the crystal. because of the flags that we were on, you will not receive the Excalibur for doing this forge. However, it does open up Kokol's shop, which we don't have a lot of money. But if you happen to somehow have a little bit of money, there can be some good stuff in there.
Yeah, I gotta feel like that's gonna end up being off limits, maybe. Although you don't have anything else to spend on at this point in time. If you don't have, I mean, he already has the 10 sirens, so might not really care about saving money at this point. Might just try and grab everything there.
Xenocat doing some leveling, since they went all the way back to Earth and have sirens. Might as well do this now. Yeah, I don't think we can afford nothing. And I also love that dialogue from Kokol of, I'm gonna keep this sword.
I mean, you might as well at that point, you don't need a sword. You're just going off to save the world. I could mount this over my fireplace, and I think it would look really nice there, so I'm just gonna go with that.
I mean, it probably would look really nice over a fireplace. I bet it's all sparkly. But anyway, Rex does not have a pass, so he will have to jump into the whale that is not been raised yet. So Rex will have to raise the whale, jump into the whale, fly to the moon, run all the way through the lunar subterrane, and then run all the way through the lunar core in order to face the final boss. I believe that takes about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and just at this point in time, the question in my mind is Rexbanner going to do any sort of level grinding at this point? I kind of think that he's probably going to just go for it, but there is a chance that might slow him on his way as well.
That is true. When you're on the way to the lunar basement, as I like to call it, if you have a couple of sirens, you can stop and do some of those gold dragon fights. And I know we picked up a few Artemis arrows at some point. Those can speed up those fights quite a bit. But while we are leveling and or traveling, I do want to mention that this is only the first of 4 races today. At 6 p.m. Central Time. Oh, nope, that's the not restreamed one. Well, 3 restreamed races, 1 not restreamed race. Later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have Slackalicious versus Woo Bear. That is going to be over on Randomania, just the regular Randomania channel with no numbers after it. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right back here on the Free Enterprise channel, we will have Gambit versus Night Dew. I know that's a pretty hype match. I'm going to be watching that one myself. So please check those out. We also have Poydrak versus Y2 Sky. That is not being restreamed. But if you look in our Discord, you can get links to their Twitch channels, so you can root them on in their individual streams.
That one is actually not a race because Poydrak has moved on in the tournament at this point. I probably should have said that one of them has moved on in this tournament, but
why is it on the schedule for scheduled then?
That is something that is being worked on in the future. We apologize for anyone whose hopes were up for it too, but if you do want another race that's going on...
I got bamboozled! I just read the schedule as it was presented.
Yeah. And then depending on the result of the Gambit versus Nightdew race, there might be another one at midnight Eastern time, so do look out for that one. And also, as was redeemed in chat and then said that, shout outs to Zoe Vermillion and Olive for work on the bot, because it's really, really, really made this tournament a lot easier to follow just in terms of the scheduling. So big shout outs there.
Oh, bamboozled. Okay, so that second race, yeah, that's not a thing. Sorry. But yeah, thanks to everyone behind the scenes, man. There's bot writers and schedulers and restreamers and trackers and Scala somehow GMing every single race.
It takes a ton of work to put on this tournament.
It's thank you to everyone who helps out with the community and you, the audience. I'm glad you're here too.
This is made possible by viewers like you, so this is important. Get our free Enterprise tote bags out to you as soon as we possibly can.
So unfortunately, it looks like Xenocat going in the wrong direction, going up that tower. No, it's the Feymarsh. The Feymarsh is the key.
And I gotta think that they'll at least peek that Luca key first, so this is kind of just leading them further and further away from that path, as Rexbanner is just making his walk down the moon at this point in time to get to this final fight.
Yep, and as predicted, taking some golden dragon fights here.
I mean, I guess if Xenocat goes straight to Feymarch and goes for that, then they still have a chance in this.
We're doing Luca. We don't have a Luca. Yeah, we do have a Luca key. Oh no. Wrong cave. Wrong underground lava cave. You want the one with ouchies, not the one with ropes that you always walk down when you mean not to walk down those ropes. I mean, and that's just randomizer. It's not like any of these choices are incorrect. Xenocat is an excellent player. It's just luck of the draw.
I think that's been kind of the theme of this tournament, is that we have so many runners who are just really, really close together, really pretty equal to each other in terms of skill, that it's ended up a lot of the time being like, look at that skill right there, avoiding the rope of shame that everyone walks into, myself included.
I have been down that rope so many times.
It's at that point where the deciding factor keeps ending up being, it's not did you make the good choices, because everyone is making good choices, it's did you make the right choices for that seed.
Yeah, I mean, the skill level in this tournament has been so ridiculously high, and keep in mind, we've already eliminated like 50 people from that already extremely skilled pool, so we are just left with the best of the best. And if you just make one decision that happens to lead you down the wrong path, I mean, that's it. Also, when you walk down the rope with the treasure chest on the other side, you have to grab the treasure chest, because then you could be like, yeah, I totally meant to go down that rope. I was getting the treasure chest. Totally meant to do that.
There's a ribbon on Xenocat's side. I have to assume that they will reset out of this unless this ends up being demissed. But it is the wrong pale white dragon there. It is the pale dim instead, so going to take that reset.
So Xenocat has two hopes here. One is Rex. That's not true. Is if Rex somehow takes a wipe to this Zeromus, that'll open it up. Oh, they are! Yay! They are going to the Feymarsh. This is a race again.
Yeah, I think the best thing that could have happened for Xenocat would have been that sealed cave being a pass and then coming down here, which would have evened things up. I think we might even need to see a couple of wipes out on Rexbanner's side before Xenocat can catch up, but we are starting to see those Z flags in chat.
Z flags? I love those. I actually just resubscribed to the free Enterprise channel just so I could use Foo-Woo and the Z flag. In case you are unfamiliar with this randomizer, we cannot move the final boss. Zeromus is just so powerful that if we put Zeromus anywhere else, it would completely break the balance of the game. But this is a randomizer, so we can't randomize Zeromus's position. We can't randomize his extremely complicated script because it is extremely complicated and has super special animations. But we can randomize what he looks like. At this point, we have over 500 It's somewhere in the 520s, but I know it's over 500 for sure. Different forms that Zeromus can take, and we're about to see one right now. Ooh, thank you, Ground Flyer. Now a bunch of other people can use the Fu Woo and Z Flag emotes. That looks like a 10 sub pack. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love that one. It's amazing.
I have not seen this one. This is great.
I love these like ones that aren't actual like enemy sprites, but are just like, you know, like rate that treasury miss, or in this case, the you are likely to be eaten by a Gru miss. So I adore these sort of like comedy offbeat sprites almost more than the other ones. So I love this one, and it is definitely a yes on the is it cute meter here.
Okay, it's definitely cute, but where is the butt? I don't think we asked the question. Want to ask the question, even though it's too late?
Sure. Although I think with this question is in this case where we're kind of wondering, you know, will Rexbanner get through this? Is butt going to be kicked this afternoon at the moment?
I can't believe I forgot the question. But it's sort of appropriate because I don't think this Z Sprite has a butt. Where is the butt of the text box?
I don't think the text box itself does, but I think you have to assume that it is describing a butted creature, as it were.
Do Grus have butts? I mean, I suppose if they're eating you, they must have butts.
This and other hard-hitting questions here on the Free Enterprise channel. Weekdays at 3 p.m.
Here's the thing. I do this kind of thing every time I do commentary, and the people who schedule these restreams keep inviting me back. So if they want me to stop, they need to let me know.
I'm still recovering from the it's not a lunar sparkle, it's just a sparkling boss from the last time they put me on here with you, so...
Yes, oh, what was that exact joke? Yes, it is only a lunar boss if it comes from the subterranean region of the moon. Otherwise, it's just a sparkling boss fight.
It's wonder. Anyway.
There is actually a boss fight going on right now, but it's actually going pretty well for Rex, so I haven't had too much to comment on.
It looks like he might be doing reflect strats with those unicorns as well to get those reflected nukes back onto Grumus here. But then Sid's swinging, so I'm not entirely sure what the actual like strategy is here. It's sort of like an interesting hybrid going on. But
yeah, I imagine if you're roughly keeping track of how much damage you've done, you can turn off that Sid with those unihorns when you need to. Xenocat doing their grind in the meantime. If Rex does wipe, that would basically it's Rex's to lose. If Rex wipes, Xenocat might have a chance, but might not because they still have to walk all the way down through the moon. Oh, and I did a commentator curse. Oopsie doodles.
I am hopefully not about to curse it more by saying that if a second fight wipes, then it puts Xenocat fully back in this at this point in time. But even then, it's still a little bit of an issue. So, you know, sometimes you just have that bad first go on Rex's side. You learn a little bit from it, and he is perfectly able to just sort of get through it on the second try because he's learned what he needs to do to adjust his strategy to get through this fight.
Swag Chocobo! Swag Chocobo! I actually really love the Black Chocobo music, and during the randomizer, you only get to hear it for like 3 seconds normally, but when you take the Swag Chocobo, you hear it for like 10 seconds.
But it annoys me when you do that, because then you get all those mountains that the Black Chocobo has suddenly decided it's okay flying over on the way back. Like, dude, you made me go around all these the first time when you didn't have a place to be. It's like that one taxi driver who's trying to run up the meter on the first path, but when they're about to get off their shift, they're just going straight to the location there.
Well, that's because like the first time you're telling them what to do, but when they go back, they just can do what they want. So they're only doing it that way because you're trying to control them.
And to answer a thing real quick from Neckalink in chat, we know that the Twin Heart from Rexbanner's side contains the adamant that's required for the other objective. So there is no pass available from this. It will just end up leading Xenocat back up to the moon and down the subterranean. But having already done that level grind, will just be able to run straight down, does not need to turn in the adamant, can just basically go straight down to the subterranean. And at this point in time, it's still Rexbanner's side to lose, but there is a chance.
The other thing is Xenocat's levels are higher. So when they do get into the Zeromus fight, I do think it's going to be a little bit easier, but I'm going to let the music replay so people who missed it the first time can hear it. Okay, Groomus being a little rude to Rex here.
Sort of becoming the self-fulfilling text box here, because Rex has been eaten by the Groomus once already, and this second time is not actually looking all that much better, so Xenocat might actually be back in it at this point.
How many? Yeah, we are low on curative items. Yeah, not looking good, because you can't really heal when Fu has a wall. And you kind of need healing items to heal too. And the other rude thing is Fu's rolls have been really low too.
Yeah, and nerfing those big bangs is going to be important, and you don't get that nerf off, then that could be a problem. But with only 2 characters up, with that Rosa not having the wall, if you nerf it and Groomus here decides, I don't want that Rosa to be here anymore, that could still be a big problem. So he kind of needs to be able to get someone else up, but he doesn't really have the turns available to get someone else up right now.
Well, this black hole is going to help. Getting the elixir on Fu. Fu gets the wall back on. That buys you a few more rounds if you can nerf the big bangs. Rosa gonna cure herself. Looking a little better now. That elixir also restoring Fu's very limited MP. And Rex has got to get it this time because Xenocat is moving in. Ooh, that was a good roll.
I mean, the only thing is with only that Fu as your source of damage, is he gonna have the MP required to get through long enough to do enough damage to take this fight down as well? Because he's only got one more nuke left in the tank after this one.
Yeah, and I believe Rydia does not know white. Or Rydia does not know white. That's just a fact, unless someone's really been hacking the randomizer. But I don't think this Rosa knows white either to do one final cast off that wall to knock out Grumus. Ooh, this is not looking good. Yeah, she does not know white.
Down goes the Rosa, and
it's this. Oh no! That's game over. Yep, Fu is gonna take a nuke. Yep, there's the reset. So, guess what? It's a race again. And I think Xenocat is a little bit better set up here. That 4,000 HP Sid, he can survive 2 completely unnerfed Big Bangs and still be there to throw some life potions.
And I don't know, I gotta think that, Rex definitely made a very, very aggressive choice going for this fight at these levels, and it just unfortunately hasn't paid off this time. Sometimes you've got to take these sorts of risks and they just don't work out, and right now it is seeming like it hasn't worked out, as both of our runners now on their way running to this fight again.
Yeah, and I mean, this is an elimination match. You have to make those aggressive plays, but you also need to know how aggressive is too aggressive. And I think, unfortunately, Rex is about 10% on the too aggressive side of that risk assessment.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I mean, maybe the only thing that you could have done different on Rex's side is maybe taken eggs instead of King Ryu's and had an easier time grinding. But I think, there's so many different ways that we could think to change what happened, but I think that he definitely made the choice that was right for him at that point in time. It just hasn't paid off in this case.
Yeah, 3,000 hit points Cecil, 4,000 hit points Sid. Even Porum's up to 17. She can maybe survive an unnerfed Big Bang. Depends on exactly on the roll. So Xenocat is set up for a much smoother fight here. So it went back, and then it went forth, and then it went back again.
I gotta feel like Xenocat, they're gonna go for reflect strats at this point, which, even if Rexbanner's fight goes better this time, will probably be faster than Rexbanner's fight. So really, this is kind of just coming down to how quickly can we get those nukes out, and whether or not Rexbanner can still sneak by at this point.
Yeah, and that safety Sid's gonna help a lot too. Because if you really get if Xenocat really gets it in a pickle, that Sid is likely to survive. Yep, and Rydia knows nukes, so we have 2 nuke casters on Xenocat's side, so it's definitely their race to lose right now.
Don't think they got Porum up to that white cast, so that won't necessarily help them out any. But just the 2 nukes alone will probably take care of this.
Oh, she does have white.
haven't seen a Porum with white in one of these races all tournament. I don't think. I'm so happy for her.
I was about to say it's been so long since I've gotten white on Porum that I actually don't remember what level she learns it at.
It was a couple more, but I mean, I guess either I'm wrong or she got some really good HP growths in the seed.
Woo, 8,000 is a good roll. Cecil's, it does look like we're doing hybrid too. That Cecil's got that Excalibur putting out 3 to 4,000 damage. Porum with the 9975.
Not quite the quad 9s, but really at that point in time, are you missing the 24 damage? Because if that 24 damage makes a difference, then that is a problem. And just to quickly answer the question in chat, is there another race after this? There is another race at 8 p.m. Eastern over on the Randomania channel with Slackaholicus versus Woo Bear, as well as another one here at 10 p.m. Gambit versus Night 2, and depending on the outcome of that, possibly another one 2.5 hours after that, half past midnight Eastern, Gambit versus Night 2 again. So you got another 2 or 3 races to go tonight.
Yep, and while we're in the end game here, I'd like to thank, of course, my co-commentator Nth for helping with the speaky bits. And also thank you, Euphoric Lemon, for doing the restream, and Aegis for doing the tracking, lighting up the buttons. Got to light up so many buttons today.
We are seeing Rexbanner's Z fight starting to go a bit sideways again. That Cecil is down. It is going a bit better than the last one. Unfortunately, that Fu going to nuke himself back onto the floor, and then another crystal's gonna come out. And this could actually be it.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. My heart. At least that black hole gives him a little bit of time to get Fu back up. Meanwhile, things going very smoothly on Xenocat's side.
Yeah, and they've just run a very good race. I mean, both players have run an extremely good race at this point in time. You know, I haven't seen one of these fights that Rexbanner's been doing on the Zeromus fight where up until like this exact point in it, I haven't felt like he could still get through it. So it really is just kind of like he needs a specific set of things to happen with this, and he's just not getting it in this case.
Ready for another Porum White? Never gets old. That one did max damage. And that was it. That Porum will finish it off. And Xenocat has won the race and will be advancing to the next round with an official race spot time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 2 seconds. The discrepancy there is because of the great buffering earlier in the stream caused us to be a little bit behind, but the yellow time is the official time. And we will see if they want to come in for an interview today.
Yeah, they've run an amazing race, and it looks like Rexbanner, after that third wipe, is just going to go up and take a couple more of these King Ryu fights and just get a few more levels, and I would assume at that point in time is just going to sail through. But we are joined by today's winner and proud member of the round of 32 coming in here, Xenocat. Thank you very much, first of all, for running a very, very good race, and GG's.
Oh, thank you.
So, Fusoya's cool.
Yeah, Fu is really good.
So what made you decide to go back to Earth? It did end up being the correct decision, but what made you, because you were up there, you did the Cave Bahamut, and then you never walked down the Lunar Palace. What made you change your mind there?
I was like, I'm gonna just do some cheeky plays at the top of the moon. Let's see what I can get out of there. And then when I saw the pan, I'm like, okay, great. I can take this down to the blue planet, see if this has anything. And even if it doesn't, it'll probably get me to 10 key items. And then I can just do my grind and start clearing the blue planet because I don't want to have to walk down the lunar subterranean twice.
Oh, okay. So you never were really gonna go too far down there unless you had to.
Not really.
Interesting. I guess, do you have any other overall thoughts on the seed?
I'm feeling a little surprised I won now that I'm like seeing I've caught the end of this stream and I'm like, oh my goodness, I felt I was so far behind for so long.
Yeah, it was, I said it was back and then forth and then back again. Rex was in the Zeromus fight many minutes before you, but unfortunately struggled with that fight a little bit. And that is what got you the win. That and the fact that you didn't dive the entire moon.
Yeah. Moon's usually haunted.
Yes, I am also a member of Team Never Moon.
Iridia was there, but that doesn't really count. She's just she's in your way. You cannot dodge her.
That actually brings up an interesting question that I had that was a big difference between your way through the seed and Rexbanner's way, is that he left that Rydia completely on the ground the whole seed. Like, Rydia's still at level 1, 30 HP. You actually decided to use that Rydia after a certain point. What made you commit to actually leveling that Rydia and using her in your entire seed rate, basically?
The curse ring that I found in Watery Pass made me feel safe leveling her because I'm like, I have a Sid start with a curse ring. Sid with a curse ring is going to be my anchor, and I don't care about knocking him down. This is wonderful. I can just level Rydia without a care, and the reason she did go down in a lot of fights is because she's very squishy, and I didn't get her back up.
Yeah, that worked out really well for all that reflected damage and the it's always nice to have 2 nuke casters in that final fight.
Yeah. I mean, I figured that was going to be my final party because I hadn't seen Edge or Young or, well, I didn't have any good weapons for Kayn, but, I just didn't have anything good for any Zerkers because I'm not a fan of Zerker Sid. He doesn't put out the same amount of damage. I don't think I had any strength boosting gear, but I had some decent, shirts for my mages, so I figured, they can do some work. Let's just embrace the mage strats.
Okay, in the most awkward question possible that I asked chat earlier, does a text box have a butt?
That is a really good question. I guess you could say it does. I think so. I think a text box has a butt.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Other than that, just how are you feeling? You're moving on. You are moving on up in the tournament. How does it feel?
I feel relieved a little bit and also terrified now because now I have to go 2-0 against peasants in order to move on any further, which is
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's amazing how high the skill level for this tournament has become.
Everyone is just so good, and I'm like, I think I'll be happy with just making it to the round of 32 and not moving to the round of 16. I think I'll be satisfied with that.
I think that's about everything I had to ask. Nth, did you have anything else to add?
I didn't have any more questions. I just want to say again, GG's on a very well run race, and looking forward to seeing you in the round of 32. I mean, I would have been fine seeing either one of you, but obviously in this case, I do believe that you could go 2-0 against peasants, so you never know.
I mean, anything is possible. Rando can always rando. But yeah, thank you both KNH and Nth for doing comms. Thanks to you, Fork Lemon, for rolling this seed, which I apparently routed terribly, but yeah, it's fine. And thanks to Aegis for tracking. This was a fun one.
Yep, thank you so much, and we will see you in the round of 32. Meanwhile, Rexbanner has leveled up his team a little bit more. In much safer levels, this is going to be a much safer Zeromus fight. And so hopefully they will not be eaten by the Gru this time.
Yeah, I gotta think with these extra levels he'll get through, and it really is worth noting, good on him for sticking it out at this point, because I know if I was in that situation with those wipes at Zeromus and you see that dot done, I'm like, you know what, I'm done for the day. I'll catch you all later. I'm gonna go sit and think about what has happened for a while. So him going back and finishing this after doing that grind and that commitment to sticking out the rest of the seed is really, really admirable, and definitely want to give him big props for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's super cool. But if you don't ever feel compelled to finish a seed if you don't need to. I'm just saying to the general running population, but also it is fun to see everybody finish. Yeah,
sure.
Go lose, go cry by myself. No. I try not to take Free Enterprise too seriously, but yeah, this fight already going a lot better. Just those couple of levels make that huge difference, because these characters can take, more than one hit without going down.
Yeah, and even at these levels, you got to think, even if you don't nerf that Big Bang, you're probably going to have Sid survive it. You're going to have Cecil survive it. You might even have Fu survive it if you get him up to max health with a potion. Rose is a little bit more of an on the edge case there, but now you're at this point where, okay, if you miss a nerf, it's not completely fatal to your strategy, even though he's done perfectly on his nerfs so far. This is a lot more stable now.
Yeah. But the one thing that actually watching Rex has taught me is how much that no cell and 0 GP flag really can affect your endgame. Because if Rex just had a stack of Cure 3s, probably would have made it through on the first try. But your number of restorative items is so limited. You get those few at the beginning, but those have to last you the entire seed.
Yeah, you kind of need like an actual white mage, and did actually miss that nerf there. It does have the Fu and the Rosa go down, but this is still recoverable, so it should be fine.
Yeah, I believe Black Hole is up next, so that should take the Berserk off, and then Cecil and Sid can do some chemistry. I do know that he has a few life potions left.
Did see he is still also sitting on that elixir in his inventory too, for whoever he decides to raise. Does use the get the Rosa up here. Gonna pop out that Cure 4 after getting Fu up with a life potion, so hopefully this will be fine, but this might be another unnerfed Big Bang coming out here.
Yep. Fu's gonna go down. Rosa should be safe though. She does have that white dress robe. Nope, I was wrong. Oi! Is he going for? Might take a few more sirens here.
Yeah, and I think you get to a certain point. This will definitely tip back over into a winnable situation here. It's very rough with this sort of kind of not quite set up party entirely, and it really is just a matter of, like you mentioned, the not having the Cure 3s and even not being able to buy any sort of equipment. If there had been any good equipment in shops that could have helped with this as well, like better damage on your Sid possibly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess while we're leveling up here, some things I can say. The Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise community is awesome. If you would like to play this randomizer, I recommend checking out the Discord. It is a super awesome place if you want to learn, ask questions, just hang out, ponder your tournament bracketology. That is the place to go. I highly recommend checking it out. You should also follow our Twitter. I know I find it super useful because it tweets out all the restreamed races, so I never miss a race. So definitely go check that out.
While we're doing shout outs, also a good time to shout out the brand new Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise ladder as well. Make sure, if you haven't checked that out, go to FF4FE LaliHo.com. Very, very fun. I've been taking part in it for the past 2 weeks, including last week when I was just basically on it all the time that was humanly possible. Got 5 different flag sets. We got ones that are good for newbies. If you want to give this flag set a try, next one's at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. If you're awake at that point in time, feel free to go ahead and join in. People of all skill levels on the ladder, so you'll definitely be able to race against someone who will match up with you no matter how good, or in my case, very bad at this game you are.
I swear, Rex is just getting the worst possible RNG. The RNG knows. It knows. Even
the level grind is being mean.
It's being rude.
Really feel bad about that because, you know, it's just, it is what it is when you can't buy hourglasses.
Really? Really? There was a 25% chance of you attacking Cecil. Really?
I suppose the good news is that if there's another attack queued up and it hits Cecil, Cecil is not the character you need XP on at this point. You're getting XP on your Rosa and your Fu to try and get them enough HP to get through the rest of this. And I gotta feel like, you know, now that he's hit 2,000 HP on Rosa, it's time for another shot here.
Yep. And good on you for sticking it out. I would be crushed at this point.
You know, I think at this point in time, it's also, you know, you got to give a good show to the people watching at home, because I know I'm enjoying this.
I don't think he saved there, so this is probably an all or nothing play.
I don't want to say enjoying this like I'm enjoying his having a rough time here, but I am enjoying seeing him working to try and fix it, because I like seeing that sort of overcoming adversity kind of thing.
Yes. The sportsmanship is excellent. But once again, we face the Grimace.
This is it. You know, like you mentioned, you didn't save, so this has got to be all or nothing here. So make sure we're giving all that good vibes, good energy in chat to get him through this fight, because he needs it right now. And, you know, got to show our support as the wonderful community we have here.
You can do it! I believe in you!
All right, attempt number 5 coming up here, and you gotta feel like he's in a better position than he was last time, so probably gonna get it, because really all that was holding him back last time was just not having quite enough HP on that Rosa.
That and ridiculously bad RNG. Like, please, please.
Shoutouts to ridiculously bad RNG, the true, like, winner of this final fight here today, honestly. Because
yes,
it's just...
like Scala is saying, let's be like the original game where we're all wishing for the characters to give them our power, because they couldn't say pray back in back in the Nintendo of America SNES days, so they were all wishing.
same reason why we have white instead of holy as well, so... At some point in time, the sort of Rube Goldberg machine of bad Zeromus RNG needs to end, so we gotta just believe hard enough to make this that run.
That was... Still getting the bad RNG. That was a really high roll. And of course it's Rosa. Of course. Actually, Fu probably would have been worse, but Rose is still extremely rude. At least the Berserkers are putting out just a ton of damage right now, and are so fast. Look at them. Vroom!
Yeah, I think this is recoverable at this point in time. It's really just if you knock out both Fu and Rosa that's going to be critically bad at this point, I think.
Yep, getting off that Cure 4. The nice thing about the Berserkers is they clog up the queue, which just, from a player perspective, really slows things down.
That's kind of why, like, every seed I did in, like, Swiss flags was like, okay, what Berserkers can I get? Because I don't want to have to think my way through this final fight. So I'm always impressed when I see these, like, really difficult kind of puzzle-like final fights like Rexbanner is having here, where he needs to execute everything in an exact order and execute it all correctly, because, you know, I'm just sort of here like, what can I do to not have to pay attention, just get more Berserkers to clog up the queue?
Okay, that roll was a little less rude.
And he'll probably be able to get a white off with Rosa if he chooses to. He's going to quickly pop up that cure first, of course, but might be able to get just some extra damage out here too at this point, and that could be pretty nice to have, but is getting that wall ready instead.
The nice thing about this is you can resort just back to pure Berserker strategies if you have to. If that Fu goes down and you just don't have enough curative items to keep him up because, you know, limited money pool, you can probably just get away with just Rosa and 2 Berserkers here.
Yeah,
Especially, like... I think he has 1 Ether 2 left in his inventory. Ooh, the white coming out. Nice.
I just want to point out how extremely well-timed that wall was on Fu as well, because he knew that that black hole was coming right then, and then that wall would land right afterwards. So that is a good expression of game knowledge there, too.
Believe that'll be a good nerf. That was a good person to take the counter nuke too. I mean, ideally you'd like to bounce it off the wall. This could be a little dicey. But we can always just go with power couple if worst comes to worst. Ooh, Sid actually stood up. Good job, Sid.
Yep, it's just a matter of getting that last bit of damage out there. This is looking good at this point in time. We really just need to keep it stable and he'll be fine. And I gotta think, you know, 2200 HP Rosa, it doesn't matter if you get the nerf off, it's still gonna be fine.
Yeah. Let's see, are we gonna try to get this Fu back up? No, just sticking with the Zergers. That's probably what I'd do at this point too. Ooh, Sid taking a big hit off of that not counter nuke, just a scripted nuke. That does mean we're in phase 2, since Grumus here is throwing out non-counter nukes.
Big question is this Cure 4 going to get off in time, or does it end up coming behind the Big Bang? Does get off in time, so all 3 of them should survive no matter what through the upcoming Big Bang.
Yep. And we gotta be getting close to endgame here, too. especially with those 9,000 damage whites that Rosa has occasionally been plopping about.
And I want to point out another thing too here is that in terms of gear in the end game, that Cecil is still swinging a poison axe. He did not find those Excaliburs that Xenocat found too, so that's really added into to the difficulty that Rexbanner's been experiencing with these, is that he just can't put out damage as quickly as Xeno was able to.
Ooh. Rosa went down. I do believe Black Hole is next, though, so we might be okay here if I've been keeping track correctly. Actually, it would probably be most dangerous here to go into Meteo. Oh, why did I say it? Okay, but Cecil dodged. That's a good start.
Looks like he's gonna live through the combo platter. This looks like the end here. We're below 12,000.
Yay! GG, good job. Good job sticking it out.
Very fitting end here with that nail biter to the finish.
Let's see if Rex wants to do an interview. By the way, if you want to be restreamed, we never force anyone to do interviews. It's entirely voluntary. If you don't like talking on stream, you don't have to. So don't let that stop you from ever joining a race. Let's see. Typity. Oh, yep, there he is. Hi, Rex.
Howdy, folks.
I gotta say, good on you for sticking it out.
Thank you. I'm a little stubborn. I don't like giving in, so I've spent 3 hours trying to get through a single boss before, so I was more waiting for you folks to be like, just give up, just stop. Please, please, we want to go to another show.
Oh, never, never.
No, we were cheering for you
there, though.
fully.
Oh, when Rosa went down, my heart started pounding again.
So did mine when that whole start of the seed, I felt pretty good. At the end, it didn't go quite the way I planned. My Fu and Friends was very weak.
Yeah, what you did really showed me how bad it is when you don't have money to spend on those curative items. I think if you had a couple more Cure 3s, you would have gotten that on the first pass, but there's just no money in these flags.
There's not, and it's something that doesn't bother me. I've done a lot of seeds where it's the sell for 10%, but like 10% chest, you start with 0 gold. I'm sort of used to not a lot of money, so I actually really enjoy the bracket setup. It's probably my favorite flag set so far.
So Fu is awesome.
Fu is great. I needed a little more work for him to pull me through it. He couldn't quite do it on his own.
Yep, so unfortunately you will be eliminated, but I'm going to say you put up a heck of a fight. You kind of came in the underdog, and Xenocat came in with a free win by virtue of doing so well in the Swiss round, so I think you put up a heck of a fight, and you have nothing to be ashamed of.
Nope, I really enjoyed the tournament for the first time entering. I cannot complain. Part of me is a little relieved I'm out now because I started at 0-2, so my last 7 games I've had to keep going through. So it's a little nice that I can have a break now.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Because I've been weird and asked everybody thus far, I'm going to ask you the most awkward question. Does a text box have a butt?
Well, yes, there's always a butt somewhere. At some point, 2 lines have to meet, which is creating a butt.
I will accept that. I think that's the best answer so far, so I will accept that. I think that's it for me, other than just good job on sticking out that very tough Zeromus fight. Enth, you got anything?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say, GG's. It was a very well-run race. I believed every single one of those Aromas fights that you could have gotten through it, and it didn't end up going your way. So I I really liked the aggression there and going for it at that level, going for that fight, and just want to say, you know, very, very well run there.
Thank you. I knew Xenocat was hard, and when I got the go mode and I seen they'd started typing, I'm just like, oh, okay, so we're both at about the same stage. I'm like, I hope he grinds or they grind. I got Fu. We're gonna try Fu and Friends. I've done it a couple times. Was still pretty rough with it, but I'm like, we're going for all or nothing. I have nothing really to lose and only to gain, so.
Okay, I think that's about it. So let's wrap it up here. I just want to remind everyone that there are 2 other races tonight. Over on Randomania, the original Randomania, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, there is Slackalicious versus Woo Bear. And later tonight, right here on the Free Enterprise channel at 10 p.m. Eastern, there is Gambit versus Night 2. And thank you, Nth, and thank you, Euphoric Lemon and Aegis. And we are going to take you over to Baka Shinobi, who is currently working on some ladder races. And I will see you all later tonight.